You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. No, we're not suing. Psst, our lawyers said we'd lose. The South Park episode gave Harry and Harry's wife a real good kicking. Maximum ridicule and joyous delight by many around the globe at seeing them portrayed so truthfully. Of course, they then received a further follow-up kicking by reports that they were looking to issue legal proceedings, to take legal action against the producers of South Park for their portrayal, and that they had instructed defamation lawyers, no doubt at considerable expense, to cast their eyes over the episode to see what might be done about it. As I've explained in parts passim, certain narcissists use the law as a means of asserting control over other people and nullifying threats to control by preventing people from doing certain things. There are certain narcissists who are highly litigious. Jack Royston of Newsweek reports, Prince Harry and Harry's wife break silence on South Park lawsuit claims. So the episode appears, which is coated with challenge fuel. People around the world comment upon it, mainstream media comments upon it, yet more challenge fuel. Then there is an attempt to nullify the threat to control by threatening legal proceedings, and Harry's wife dealing out a pity play by explaining that she's extremely upset about the episode. See parts passim. But now there's a further attempt to nullify the threat to control by explaining that actually they're not going to sue. Oh. Prince Harry and Harry's wife are not suing after being mocked by South Park, as their spokesperson told Newsweek, claims the saga may have legal ramifications, are baseless and boring. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were mocked in a new episode of the cartoon which showed the Prince and Princess of Canada on a worldwide privacy tour. The roast led to speculation they are considering legal action, but their spokesperson said, "This is baseless and boring." Are you sure you're not just talking about Harry's wife being baseless and boring? And US royal commentator Christine Mainzer told Newsweek it was easy to see why the couple were not taking legal action. She said, "I highly doubt Harry's wife and Harry are suing a satirical cartoon that famously ridicules everyone. If anything, they'll know they're in good company with other decent people." That means you're calling them decent people, who've been raked over the coals by the show. For example, South Park has repeatedly ridiculed Al Gore and his efforts to combat climate change. They made fun of Steve Irwin for being killed by a stingray just a few weeks after his death. They turned Rob Reiner into a punchline because of his weight. They've never been a bastion of good taste, and they've absolutely been offensive. But then again, they're also a cartoon, not a news outlet, and Harry and Harry's wife are unlikely to take a cartoon to court. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with the fact that she has no sense of humour whatsoever, and given the fact that, as reported, she was extremely upset about the portrayal, she will have absolutely wanted something to be done about it. "I want their heads on a platter," she'll have screamed as Harry scrambled to the chicken coop with his mobile phone to ring Sue Grabberton-Run, lawyers extraordinaire. She'll have screamed at Harry to do something about this. She will have gone nuts at the portrayal. And the fact is, they're now putting out, through the usual puff piece outlets, because this news has been reported in Newsweek and People.com, two of the supine publications. They've done this now because they've most likely been told, if you take legal action, 1, you'll lose, and 2, Barbra Streisand. You'll encourage the Barbra Streisand effect, which you've done to some extent already, but all you'll do is bring greater attention to the episode to more and more people will laugh at you. They will all stand there and go, "Ha ha!" So they've been advised by the lawyers, don't do it. Now, of course, as a narcissist, Harry's wife may well go against legal advice. It's often the case. But in this instance, it's clearly been put to her very firmly that you have a snowball chance in hell of succeeding with a lawsuit against South Park, and you're going to make this shitstorm all the worse for you. And in some instances, a narcissist will listen to that advice. Of course, what she can't be done is to be seen to be saying, "Yeah, I'm going to sue, but no, I'm not." What has to be done is, "But no, never was thinking about suing them whatsoever. Never crossed our minds. Oh, come on now. It's a cartoon. We wouldn't be suing that. Let's find somebody who can issue some words on our behalf." What about a royal commentator explaining that we're not going to sue a cartoon? The fact is, this is just further facade management, and is another attempt to nullify the threat to control posed by suggesting that they were going to get litigious, because, of course, the reaction to the suggestion that they were going to be litigious was not a good one. And therefore they need to retreat from that position by saying, no, we were never going to sue anyway. And really, it's only as a consequence of the fact that she has been told you're not going to get anywhere, and it's going to make it 10 times worse. The fact is, she will absolutely have consulted lawyers, because the threat to control posed by this episode was so great for the reasons that I've outlined in previous videos that she would have been screaming and smashing crockery and charging around, weeping and wailing, possibly throwing herself to the floor, for the purposes of ensuring that something had to be done about this terrible, terrible episode. The scale of the threat to control it posed was massive, because not only is it a worldwide program that was watched by millions of people, but it was also commented upon by mainstream media, left, right and centre, and blew up social media. Therefore, as I explained in parts passim, there's been front after front after front of challenge towards her. And that will have ignited her fury, as she'll have shrieked and wailed like a banshee, demanding that something be done about it. And one of her go-to methods of asserting control, of course, is to ring the lawyers and pick up that hotline to sue, grab it and run and say, sue their ass, get an injunction, restrain them in some way, take them down, I want it stopped. And of course, eminent legal brains will have looked at it and said very clearly, you don't stand a chance. You absolutely will tank and lose. There's nothing to be done here. And therefore, as a consequence of that, the PR management has come out instead to say, no, never going to sue at all. Now, of course, the Newsweek article then continues by regurgitating more of what was actually in the episode, and then regurgitates the speculation about suing. It then goes on to state, the jokes may sting and have certainly served up ammunition to Harry and Harry's wife's critics, but the Duke and Duchess would likely have an uphill battle attempting to sue South Park, even if they wanted to, which clearly they do not. Open brackets, which is only the case after they've been told that they'd lose, close brackets. Mark Stevens, a UK-based attorney at Howard Kennedy, told Newsweek that suing in America would likely fail, though they might have more luck filing the case in Britain. He said, they can sue in any country they wanted to because it was global on the internet. Satire is defamatory in the sting. My advice to people, though, is always don't sue on jokes, because what people then say is, you can't take a joke. On the face of it, they can sue, but there's a long and dishonourable tradition of people who sue about jokes not being successful. If you're in the public eye, people feel you should be subject to comment and criticism, and satire is another form of comment and criticism, he continued. That's another reason why people think you should just take it, because it is just comment. Harry's wife's lawyer, Michael Kump, invoked the First Amendment right to free speech as recently as February the 15th in defending the Duchess during a libel lawsuit filed by her half-sister Samantha Markle. The right to voice opinions, to even criticise, are even fundamental rights granted by the First Amendment, Kump said. Kump's comments do not sound like the words of a man who is about to sue South Park on behalf of his clients. Although, of course, do bear in mind that Harry's wife, with her usual hypocrisy, can claim in a defence against an action for defamation against her that she utilises the First Amendment and then basically shoot the First Amendment down in flames when she wants to sue somebody else. Because typical of the type of narcissist that she is, particularly those that are left-leaning and the wokists, It's all about, you're not allowed to use these words. You're not allowed to talk about me in these terms. You're not allowed to make reference to me in this manner. Because if you do, you're a racist and a hater and a misogynist. Quite simply, they want to tell you how you should think and speak and do. But the moment that you criticize them, you are shut down and you're not allowed to do it. And Harry's wife, as a narcissist, very much belongs in that group. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.